Alright guys, this is going to be a quick update on one of my projects that I'm currently working on. It's the 1939 Chevy Street Rod Revell Monogram. I built this car when I was a teenager, so I'm revisiting it. Um, I think I'm going to do that with a lot of my projects. I'm going to go back and rebuild some that I built when I was younger, because I think that's a really good thing that all model builders should do. You know, go back to your source of inspiration. On the chassis here, this is one of the best chassis to build, guys. I really enjoy this chassis. It's coming along really nice. The design that I came up with is supposable suspension, but it's posable hydraulic suspension is what it is. What I wanted to do is come up with a technique that like a basic beginner modeler to an intermediate to a professional modeler could build a suspension, but relatively simple suspension, but have it move. If you look at this wheel right here, you can see if you roll it back, it goes like all the way down. By doing this, you actually raise the back of the vehicle. So if you set it down, it's actually jacked up now. It's like a rake, like a muscle car, just by, turning the wheels like that. The front wheels do the same thing. You can turn them down and they'll raise the front up. So you can raise the back up, you can raise the front up, you can raise one side up, so it can go from side to side, front to back. And all this is manual, and it's basically, building these suspensions are very technical and complicated and very complex for the beginning modeler. But the inspiration for lowriders and the culture is, there's such a passion there that, model car builders want that. So this right here is a technique that you can do that doesn't require, so many parts and so many intricate pieces that you just lose yourself and not want to do it. Basically what I did is I took a drill and drilled a hole in the back of the rim, and then I inserted the these pieces right here are like the insert pieces that go on the axle. I glued them to the rim and inserted them. This whole front end is built from a razor, the little guard that comes on a razor blade that you shave with. So it's scratch built, toothpicks, you know, totally scratch built front end. Innovative, creative, just do it, guys. Try it, whatever you see, think, what can I use that for, in my build? And you'd be surprised at the things you come up with. So I'm gonna I think this is a very easy technique, but yet the payoff is tremendous, because being able to pose it, it's just, I'm going to pause the video and set it up here in a minute and show you some different angles of what it looks like. But the 39, I don't know if all models would fall into this particular design, but the 39 definitely lends itself to this. I'm going with a two-tone paint job on this one. This is the fenders. So the interior's coming along. And then the body is going to be this color, which I think is just awesome. That's just a beautiful color. It's gorgeous. So another how-to thing on this particular build is I'm mixing two different paints, which is a no-no. But you can do it in this instance because they don't meet. On the fenders, you have one company in their paint and their materials, and then on the body, you have a different company in their paint and their materials. But to get this color combination, you can mate them together and have no worries about any problems with that. This right here is your classic muscle car stance. You got high rise in the back, dropped in the front. So that would be like your classic rake position right there. That's one pose that you could do. All right, this pose is like a tricycle maneuver where you're on three wheels. This front wheel will be off the ground. So basically, you can see that's another pose that you can do with it. Which is a really cool pose. I like that one. This pose right here is totally slammed pose. So this is like with all the hydraulics down. So this would be like laying frame, so to speak. And of course, that's an awesome pose too. And as I said, you can go side to side. You can go front to back. You can go one wheel up in the front or one wheel up in the back. I mean, you can pretty much manipulate it any way you want in the posable manual position. Very economic way to get posable hydraulics on a model car without having to go into great time strengths on building all the things that go on with those type of suspensions. I think the car's coming out wonderful. I'm really loving this build, and revisiting a kit from my childhood is just got my creative juices flowing, and I really recommend all model builders to go back to your childhood and find those kits that you built. So your first 5 kits that you built. If you can get those, I'm gonna start like a resurrection series, which will be basically cars that I built, like the first 5 cars that I built when I first started modeling. And this one right here is going to be the number 1 car in that first episode when I get it completed. This car I'm calling El Guapo. That's the name of this build. El Guapo. 1939 Chevy. Lowrider. And I hope this how-to helps some aspiring modelers, to get in and do this posable hydraulic setup, because it's just really cool.